Here's a great.
Here we go.
Here's a great one for.
You have found us. More podcast, where we want you to know God more deeply, find lasting freedom, discover your destiny and make an eternal difference. Now.
Hey, Alex. Could you turn me up a little bit?
Which is you.
Yeah. Can you turn me up just a touch? Thank you, sir. That's perfect.
There you go,
Yeah.
I got to label these.
No, that's perfect. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. So you guys been a good week, eh? So far?
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. This table looks like an AA table here.
No,
man.
I was
It's like
going to say, the
covered.
amount of caffeine that is around this table right now.
We've got enough here, really, to storm the forts right now.
I was saying this, like, I screw up my words and stuff and, like slur words when I'm, like, overly caffeinated.
Oh, yeah.
I am highly caffeinated today.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever figured, like not regulated your caffeine well as an adult? Like, obviously, as a kid, we're, like, slamming Mountain Dews or whatever. But, like...
Yeah.
Like, I'll be like 3 cups of coffee in and then go for a Red Bull and be like, you do not need that.
100%.
You tell yourself that?
Well, after the fact,
Oh, after
usually,
you've already
because I'll
drank
kind
it.
of forget like how much caffeine I've actually consumed.
Yeah.
Sure. You notice when your
man.
your heart's
It's bad.
palpitating and your
Right,
eyes
you're
are
just like
twitching,
levitating.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You start getting Tourette's all of a
Yeah.
sudden. Yeah.
It's
It
a thing.
happens.
You got to like remember, like, hey, you just chill.
I don't,
Like,
though, because that's the thing. Like, at home, I have instant coffee. That's
Okay.
what I usually drink at home. So I'm constantly...
all
Oh,
day
my-
long.
All day long, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll go through a few cups. Even at home at night, I'll be sitting there. And then I wonder why I can't go to
Really?
bed at night. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
don't
laying
do
there.
that. Go to bed, dude. I'm worried about you.
It's hard. It's hard to go to bed. Yeah.
Well, then don't drink coffee
I
after
know.
a certain
I know.
time.
It's tough. But see, the thing is, okay, this is
And
the thing. Full disclosure.
you, Alex, there is not a meeting where I don't see you at that you do not have a Bang or a Monster.
That's right. Yeah.
It literally is like
That's crazy.
every single time I'm
It
with
is.
you.
Yeah.
He has got this.
This
thing
is
in
my
his
insurance policy to get to heaven.
Listen,
How much caffeine does that have?
300.
that's
300?
Crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's nice.
Your heart's a muscle. You can train it.
Yeah. That's right. I'm running
Wait,
a
wait,
marathon right now, and you don't even know
I know
it.
this is like we've done this a million times.
I
So
just
a
done
cup
2
of
miles
coffee
right
is
now.
How much
It's
caffeine?
like 80.
So that's like 5 cups of coffee.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Right.
You know, when you go for those stress
I like
tests,
that.
when I go for the stress test, you know, they usually give me the shot.
How
'cause
many-
They gave up on me on the treadmill. And they're like, okay, that one didn't, we'll have to give you another one. Oh, that's not doing much for us either.
Alex.
I'm like 3 shots in, you know.
Yeah.
I
just
mean,
send me over a
would
Bang.
all 3 of you would all 3 of you say you have ADHD?
Yes.
I don't.
Okay.
No. I have the opposite
I
problem.
was diagnosed with ADD.
Okay.
Yeah.
He does.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
I was,
Unmedicated?
I
Should
was,
be, yeah, I was medicated.
I was
I'm
never.
not now,
Yeah.
but-
I was never diagnosed.
I have the opposite of ADHD.
Isn't that
What is the
insane?
opposite? Yeah.
That's actually insane.
But I think
Yeah.
that there
But
was
everybody knows.
Well, we all know. We've all got to figure it
So
out.
you guys are in your 30s. We're kids like
Jeez.
your
Throw
age.
that out
Is
there
that
like
wrong?
that.
I don't know.
No,
I
that's
feel like
correct.
that's okay with Alex and I sitting here. Like
I wish I was 30.
we're the chop dunks to bring it back.
Chop
group. When you guys were in like elementary school, is everybody getting diagnosed with ADD?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But
Okay.
they couldn't catch me.
It's like, where did he
Well,
go
you
again?
like transferred schools. You were moving around.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't.
right.
They're never
Never
gonna
under
get
the
me.
radar.
That's right.
Yeah, a lot of boys.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
remember any girls, but
Isn't that crazy? That's something.
Well, when I was a kid, they kept testing us for
us or you?
No, well, the kids in the school, the dental was a problem all the time. Everybody had apparently bad teeth, so that was
Really?
like, yeah. And then checking for any kind of issues we have, food allergies and stuff. So that was a big deal. So they would bring these people in, which I now have found out from listening to conspiracy theories that there was a government plot to figure out some other stuff.
To get fluoride in the water.
Well, but they were trying to figure out if they had any kids that had sort of like special mental abilities.
like
So,
the Stranger
yeah.
Things
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So that's what the conspiracy theory I just
Come to
heard.
find out, he just had ADD.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's it.
You're just
Yeah,
dumb. You're just dumb. You don't have anything. I'm sorry. You don't have
I
anything.
remember, my doctor told my mom, I was in elementary school. They were like, yeah, just give him Mountain Dew in the morning. Because it's the opposite effect, right? Yeah, they're like, give him Mountain Dew. He was like, it's not the caffeine, it's the sugar. So just sugar will be unhealthy for him. But like, give him all the sugar cereal he wants and stuff. And I, as a kid, remember being like, cool, but also this seems the opposite of parenting correctly.
My doctor's awesome.
Right? Yeah, right. Yeah. Here's a pot of coffee, an 8-year-old. Like,
You know, when Carson was a real big, like under a year old, he was going through the chemo and stuff. The doctors, we kept telling him we can't get him to sleep because the chemo was making him all hyper, you know. And so they're like, just give him a little bit of sugar, like a spoonful of sugar or some honey or something at night, and he'll go right down. And as soon as we figured that worked, I'm like, this is amazing.
I don't know. How does that work?
I don't know.
Sugar?
When a baby is that young, they can't process that much sugar. And so what the opposite, they basically just kind of just go catatonic.
Yeah, that's what they do with newborns, right? Like,
Don't ask. Well, how are you looking at me?
Yeah.
No, because you were with
what did you do? What did you do, Hunter?
They give them sugar water.
Yeah.
oh, really?
Yeah. When
And it works.
Little boys are getting.
Oh, yeah.
They give them sugar water.
That's
Here,
right.
Yep.
go to sleep.
Yep.
Yep.
Sugar water for a little baby. Boy.
Yeah.
Boys only, though?
I don't know if it works
I'm
for
sure it
girls.
would work for
I've
girls
had all
too,
boys,
but there might
yeah.
not be a reason to do that in the hospital.
Okay.
Here's your little sleepy weepy. Here you go.
Oh, man. Yeah, it is weird. It is weird how you grow up and things then change and everyone's like, we can't believe we did that. I mean, I don't remember a kid that wasn't diagnosed with ADD and some teacher slash parent was like, this kid needs to be medicated.
Well, when did everybody start becoming allergic to peanut butter and bread?
Here we
and
go.
I mean, come on.
Here's the rabbit
There it
trail.
is.
'Cause
Don't even
when
get
we
me
changed
started.
Peanut butter.
Yeah.
But Pastor Alex, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Why do people listen to the More podcast?
Oh, good question. I forgot about that. Why do they?
This is going to be something today.
Well, I'll tell you why they listen to more podcasts, Pastor Hunter. Because it maximizes opportunities for right now and eternity. So really stop asking why you listen. Just never forget to listen and pass it on. Should I continue on? Spencer?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, okay. So this episode of the More Podcast is brought to you by Weber, because nothing says man of God like standing over 700 degrees of flame-holding tongs like you're defending the gates of heaven. Whether you're slow smoking ribs or burning hot dogs for the 5th church event in a row, or telling everyone I meant to char it, Weber has been faithfully supporting dads, pastors, and men named Gary in cargo shorts since the dawn of propane. Weber Grills. Weber, turning medium rare into Prairie Quest since 1952. Yeah, so
That's true.
Yeah,
Weber grills are pretty impressive.
they are. They are.
I feel like I've shared this story on the podcast before, but my high school job was I worked at Ace Hardware in Boyne City, and I put together Weber grills.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
There you
And
go.
my dad, so I am 42.
Yeah.
My dad still has his grill that I put together for him as a 15-year-old, and it looks great.
Does he use it?
I used it last Sunday.
Okay, all right.
Made burgers for the Polly's family.
I like grilling.
a good grill.
I like grilling. It's about the
Yeah.
only thing I can cook. You know, I almost feel like
There
I'm
is something
in the holy
primal.
holies at that point.
Yeah, there's a primal thing of like standing in front of fire with meat. Like, this is what I should be doing.
feel like a full on priest at that
Right.
point. Yeah, like, bring the meat. Let's do it. Put it up there. Cows, anything.
You remember almost burning a house down while grilling?
Oh, let's hear this one. Let's divulge this information.
Hannah and I were, we were
We were on our honeymoon.
We were on our honeymoon.
Oh,
and I've never grilled before. I'm a
Yeah.
child. And I don't remember. I think we were like, we have some kind of meat wrapped in bacon or some junk like that.
Asparagus, wrapped in
There
bacon.
it is.
Right.
Well, you know,
High fat
bacon's
content.
got its own grease, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
that started
Yeah.
dripping on the fire, and I went in for a second. I come out, and there's a, I don't know, 4
In
foot
my
flame.
uncle's garage.
There goes the house.
In a garage, the grill is inside.
Yes,
Yeah, why are we doing that? Put that
It
thing
was-
outside.
because it was raining.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to get wet, you know.
Open. Was the door open of the garage?
I have no idea.
Okay.
He can't remember because he
Okay.
painted at some point, you know.
He was 21.
I was 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you
my
know,
we do
defense,
those things.
it happens.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Move on.
I've had friends do that where they've had the grill too close to the siding of the house
Yeah.
and they melt the
Just
siding.
melt
the siding.
Yeah,
and
our
then-
house has
yeah.
that a little bit. I don't know if you noticed that.
I have no.
Yes.
Was it from you or the previous owner?
Nope.
Okay.
Proud-
all right.
Yeah.
It's not from him.
It's not. Well,
Get outta here.
he knows now.
He's learned.
He's learned how to keep a grill going now. So.
Yeah.
All right, gonna take an ID break, come back, and tell you who's around the table. We have, you've probably heard already, you have some different voices here
Yeah.
today. So we'll be back in just a second.
You're listening to more podcast, over-caffeinated, Holy Spirit fueled, and somehow 4 hybrid preachers, Gary, Hunter, Ted, and Alex, fresh out of Area 51. We'll be right back.
We broke out.
At some point, can we talk aliens on the podcast? I mean, I feel like that is culturally relevant.
It'd have to be in a setting like this, because I think if Pastor Gary's involved, he's going to shut it down.
Listen,
Yeah.
you might be surprised. That's all I
That
gotta
you
say.
would shut it down?
No, you just might be surprised that Pastor Gary might be preaching a sermon about
Oh
aliens,
no!
I know.
We just had this.
He
We got-
mentioned
June
that.
7th,
but this
Yeah.
is what we got to do.
which would open up the pod for
right.
Yeah, we could.
Did
So if
you
he
know we
said it-
used to do the conspiracy corner? Did you remember that?
No,
I don't think
You
he
were in
was around
Detroit,
then.
I think,
Yeah.
at that point. But
Yeah.
we used to do like,
And they got shut down.
yeah. I mean, it was
Because apparently it went off the rails. If you I don't know.
well, right. But the aliens
looking-
thing are now. We got to do it because the government says they're real.
That's
Don't
right.
get me started.
I think
go.
it's fun.
He's been listening to stuff all morning about it.
Okay.
Have you guys listened to the Y-Files at all?
No. Oh yes.
That's a podcast that will take you down a rabbit hole. Big
we
time.
need to not have record happen, and then we can talk about this. But
when nobody's around.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
All right.
send us though more podcasts. Do you want to talk about aliens?
yes,
Let us know.
Yeah.
we do.
Let the people speak.
We'll look into it. Yeah.
Let the people speak.
I literally today, because of our sermon series coming up, I'm doing all this stuff. I know we got to get to the business of IDs here, but
Yeah.
we're like making shirts and stickers and stuff for our mountain series. That's
The Mountain
coming
Series
up.
is coming up. Yeah.
Yeah,
in June.
super fun, and I get to preach on Genesis 6.
Let's go. Let's go.
Come on,
And it'll be the last sermon that he preaches.
but
they run
I
them
was
out on
like,
the radio.
I'm like looking around for like shirts that I could wear, and have you guys seen I'm a big fan of Blurry Creatures, but the introverted but willing to talk about Nephilim T-shirt,
Order it up.
Hey,
right? Don't you think like that would be great?
Do you need my Gary Wayne book?
Order it up.
Because
I do. Yes, I definitely want to read.
there is like a ton of
Dude,
scriptural references.
so fun. Yeah.
it's
All
like-
right. Sorry.
okay.
Yeah. IDs.
Anyways,
let's go.
Well, it leads us boldly into the presence of God while secretly wishing church fog machines are as powerful as the smoke on a Weber grill. Give it up for the only guy who can go from heartfelt worship to debating brisket temperatures in under 30 seconds, Pastor Ted.
Let's go. I like that. All right. And the guy to my left, the guy treats grilling like a spiritual gift. This man doesn't check meat temperatures. He lays hands on the steak and discerns it is in spiritual renewal. Rumors has it that Weber Grill has led more men to the fellowship than half the church calendar. Give it up for the Sultan of Smoke,
Wow,
the
the
Bishop
Sultan of
of
Smoke.
BBQ, Pastor Hunter.
There he is.
Give myself a hand.
Bishop of barbecue.
The Bishop of Barbecue. That's good.
That's like the Sultans of SWAT. That's like what's the movie
That's
called?
good. I like that.
Yes, well, ladies and gentlemen, childrens of all ages. The lady to my left is our guest. I think she was designed in a lab to work at a church. She can lead ministry, children's ministry, preach a message, sing a worship set, play a piano, calm a crying toddler, and organize an event all before finishing her second cup of coffee. And technically, she's quite tall for a hobbit. My wife, Hannah Kilpatrick.
He said it, not
Let's
us.
go.
He said it,
I'm
just
allowed
for
to
the
say
record.
that.
Let's go.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, joining us today is a man of many talents, a scholar, theologian, a warrior, allegedly the third greatest Star Wars trivia mind in all of Northern Michigan. Although, since growing the mustache, multiple staff members have confirmed he received at least a +2 charisma and intelligence buff, which may have officially moved him into the number 2 spot. Give it up for Pastor.
That's great. That's great.
You got to bring up the Star Wars thing again.
Yeah. I like all the throwbacks to last week's
That's what
episode.
we do.
That's good.
That was painful.
Yeah.
That was painful.
Yeah. +2 on charisma for the mustache is also a good one too. I like that.
I did not realize by just going to the mustache how many people would notice and have opinions about it.
It just
You're like, do you get to have an opinion about my
I don't
facial
know.
hair?
I did Coffee Connection last Sunday, and it's nonstop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was either for or against, or what's going on? Are you having a crisis in your life right now?
Right.
I'm like, no, I'm fine. I just
You can just leave me
Hit 'em-
alone.
hit 'em
That's
with
what you
the-
should say.
I'll respect your opinion when you have a mustache.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
I feel like you are much more approachable
Am I
with the mustache.
With the stash.
Instead of
Yes.
the beard? The beard looked like I was ready to blow
you're
up
my
a building
friend,
or
so I
something.
know you. But like, if you were, I don't get the creepiness factor.
Not at
I'm
all.
like, this guy looks like a jolly guy.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Santa.
You give me 300 milligrams of caffeine, and I'm excited.
That's right,
yeah.
man. Woo! Let's hang
Yeah.
out with that guy.
Yeah, well, the beard. I kept hearing about how Pastor Gary and I in those pictures for that series looked like we were homeless. So I was like, really?
go.
Up north? That's
Right.
pretty normal.
No,
up north.
yeah, for sure.
All right, we're going to come back. Now that you know everybody around the table, we're going to come back with some help from more podcasts because we always like to do this. We like to help you get ready for different seasons of life. And so here we are getting ready for the grill season. So we have some advice that we've picked up along the way and things we've heard about that you probably should know as you get ready to start your grill. And we'll be right back.
You're listening to the More podcast, the podcast no one brings up, but somehow everyone's already heard. The one your friends won't recommend, but keep accidentally quoting. A little truth, a little chaos, and just enough real to keep you coming back. The More podcast, if you know, you know.
Every time I hear that, it sounds like it's from the BBC.
Yep.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so we want to talk about what you need to know to help you get ready for the grill season. Are you guys ready for the grill season yourself?
Who's the griller in the Kilpatrick house?
Neither one of us. You've heard what I can do.
Well, but yeah, but
You
somebody's
haven't
got to
learned
make the
since
first
then?
step.
I have grilled things.
Okay.
You have.
Don't plan to do it.
I will probably grill stuff this summer.
Do you like to do it?
No.
No.
But I'll do it out of
Do it.
necessity.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You
Well,
have
he
to.
has like pretty deep,
Don't start bringing up my stuff.
There we go.
pretty deep like fears about food not being cooked all the way. And
yeah.
so like
Yeah.
When I'm cooking it. So if
then
somebody
it
else
becomes
is
like
cooking
this
it,
whole
we're good.
thing.
But if I'm cooking it, it's got to get
Hey.
to temp.
Right.
Dude, we got to get you just a meat thermometer.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
I love
You do?
it.
Okay,
Oh,
just
yeah.
keep it on you.
As soon as I got the meat thermometer, I'm like,
You're
life
good.
is good.
You're all
Get
good
that
now,
internal
yeah.
temp. If not, I'm gonna burn that thing.
Right.
till
But then it's like it just causes a lot.
yeah.
So it's stressful.
Yeah.
Bishop of barbecue, man.
He's the bishop of barbecue, the salt and the smoke.
I really
Right here.
I really like the salt and the smoke. Like that's
salt
really
and
good.
smoke.
Yeah, I think that's right there. I
Yeah.
think that's
Stick
that. The next
around.
time you preach a sermon, we have
Salt
to
and
introduce you
smoke.
like that.
Uh,
The salt and the smoke, the bishop of barbecue.
that is salt and the smoke could be interpreted a lot.
Right.
of
yeah,
different
they're like
ways.
the guys out there. Like, woo!
What is
yeah.
the movie? What am I thinking of? The Great Bambino, The Sultan of Swing.
The Salt and the Oh yeah,
What
yeah,
is
yeah.
that? It's the baseball movie.
The baseball movie.
The Great Bambino.
yeah, the Great
Come
Bambino.
on,
Yeah,
guys.
who is that?
What is it? The Sandlot. The
Sandlot, yeah.
The Sandlot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so here you go.
All right.
Here's some information to help you get ready for grill season. The first thing is to test your propane tank early. I mean, how many people mess up with that one?
Yeah.
Nothing destroys a man's confidence faster than announcing burgers will be ready in 10 minutes and hearing that the grill cough like it just ran a marathon.
Are
Suddenly,
you guys
you're cooking hot dogs.
propane people or are you
Propane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to spend the time with
Charcoal?
coal anymore. Charcoal, yeah.
I think charcoal tastes better, but I am with you in that it's usually your whole entire body smells like it after too, which is no fun for me. And
It's not bad, though.
I
I
don't
mean,
want to
you-
like
you know.
have to shower to sit on my couch again though.
Fair enough.
My wife
know?
likes it when I smell like burnt wood and coal. So it's like,
You're like-
I'm like, hey, all
You're
right.
like everything.
Yeah, I'm like, I just
Needs
good.
to be open flame.
Yeah, anything open flame. Your clothes are on fire. That's great. I love it. Yeah, no, it's. She likes that the outdoorsy smell.
Okay.
Yeah. So we used to when we were younger, around our 20s, we used to go camping a lot, like
Careful.
in the very remote places. No, it's a good story.
Okay.
It's a clean Christian story. And we used to go, and that was the thing we would do. We'd just sit out there by the campfire all night. Sometimes we'd fall asleep
right.
out in the campfire. But you would not see us do that now because we have to have a bed and we have to have pillows. And
You guys got a nice
yeah.
camper.
Oh, we do. We really don't camp. We glamp.
Right.
Yeah,
There it
we
is.
Glamp, yeah. Okay, here's another one. Clean the grill grates. For all of you that think that the food is not a problem. If opening your grill feels like uncovering Pompeii, it's time you need to clean your grill. Extra flavor, that is not true. That's evidence from last summer's church picnic.
Yeah.
You need to get that off there. And I just ordered a grill cleaner.
Yeah.
This is amazing. It's a scrub brush that you just kind of run it off over the grates, and it, AI makes it look like it cleans it off pretty
Sure.
quick. Yeah, I don't know if it does that in real life. but
Probably doesn't.
AI makes it look good. Here's another one. Locate your grilling tools now. Every grilling season begins with a grown man digging through the garage saying, I know I bought the tongs. Somehow all you can find are jumper cables, one ski glove, and a flashlight that barely works. That is so true. That's so true. Every year I put my stuff where I'm going to find it.
Yeah.
When it comes time for grilling, it's not there. I don't know where it went, who took it. I blame everybody.
I got a new grills. I use it's not a Blackstone, it's a Weber, but it's with flat top. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I prefer that.
You like flat tops? Yeah.
We could get into a whole thing on that.
There we go.
I got I got for Christmas it's a Mr. Scrubby. This thing, like the pusher. It looks like I'm gonna scrape the windows off my car in the winter, sort of deal for my grill.
Those are nice.
I'm excited to use it.
Yeah,
those are fun. I think it's you have to make sure your grill's clean. I think it's very important. Okay. Practice your grill master phrases before summer starts. Rehearse the classics. This one's for you, Pastor Hunter. You want to work on these. These are almost done.
Yep.
Don't touch the grill.
Yeah.
The flames help the flavor.
Yeah.
And I meant to do that. That's the one you want to use more than anything else. It's like when you bring it in and it looks like a sacrificial offering.
Yeah.
I meant to make it look like
that.
Yeah. I was always meant to do that. Yeah. A true grill master says these with confidence, no matter what's happening. Okay, and the last one is prepare for the neighbor meat inspections. The second you fire up the grill, random dads appear out of nowhere like barbecue disciples.
Is that?
I don't know.
That's like my greatest fear.
Yeah.
It is the thing of like
my greatest fear is two
coming
things.
To the light.
I'm grilling something, or I'm working on my car, and some dude shows up who I know. You know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm watching a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Like,
but you don't tell them that though. You keep that's private.
yeah, now I got to turn the YouTube video off.
Okay, I'm with you on the car. Here's the thing with the grill.
Yeah.
All you need is 2 to 3 things that you do really well.
There it is.
And just stay right in your lane.
There it is.
Okay?
I got to find my lane.
Exactly. So I can help you, buddy.
Yep.
Like,
You
it
gotta
will
figure it
not
out.
require a ton.
You gotta find
And then
it.
you just like, every single time somebody comes over to your house, this is my ace in the hole.
I do asparagus
I love
and
it.
bacon wraps.
There you go.
That's what you need.
And well, he did that and burned the house
Oh,
down.
that's right.
So
Okay,
we're
never
not
mind.
going to
Forget
do
that.
that.
Move that
Don't
one.
do that.
Okay, do another one. Do another one. Chicken. You can do chicken well, probably,
Yep.
right?
No,
I'll show you. I'll show you, buddy.
I need
I'll
somebody
show
to
you.
teach me.
Yeah, I'll show you.
My thing was Kentucky dry rub. I could do
You
that
do
really
that
well.
forever?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, you put it on low heat and you leave it in there for 3.5 hours, and you just come back. And
Yeah, you
it's
don't
like,
do anything.
You don't do anything.
Sure.
But everybody's like, "This is amazing." Well, yeah, I put a lot of work into this.
Right.
Yeah, I
You
did that
just
a lot.
cook things slowly.
The weird part is, my wife can cook a salmon steak like nobody's business, and she will not eat it. She hates
Really?
fish.
Huh.
She's allergic to fish. Yeah, but she can make one, and it is unreal.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'm
On
like-
the grill?
On the grill.
Okay.
I'm like, can you make this for me? Because I have never been able to do it right. And
Yeah.
she's every time.
Huh.
I'm like, it's
So
amazing.
Ted, you can grill,
I mean,
and you can fish too, right?
not really well. I mean,
Oh, okay. I was thinking.
I like to fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't eat, and I'm one of those like snobby fishermen that
Yeah.
does not keep the fish.
He would starve.
okay.
He would starve.
Yeah,
starve,
no,
okay.
this isn't the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking. And
But he-
No.
get a Bible study going.
Yeah.
Grills, gills, and grace. Let me
There
come
it
out there.
This is the funny part because Pastor Gary is the outdoorsman. That's what we all. That's his perception
Yeah.
in the church. Yet Lisa Kay outdoes him every time they do something. Like
Yeah.
he introduces her to something, and then
better.
she's better at
Outfishes
it.
him,
Yeah.
yeah.
Outfishes them by a mile. Hunting. She's
Yeah.
the one that can find the deer that nobody's been able to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well-
So I don't think he. Yeah, I think he's having some crisis right
Well,
now.
and Hannah preached once, outdid me. So I'm like,
She's taking over.
job's
She's
done.
done.
Like, I'm
all
finished up.
Sorry.
I'm looking for another job right
We're
now.
just good.
I'm done. I'm moving on. I'm not going to try to follow that. If you have to preach before me at some point, I'm going to be like, I'm sick. I'm
Right.
sick that Sunday. I
Yeah.
can't do it. I'm not
Don't
doing
do
it.
it.
All right, we're going to take an ID break, come back with Harbor Life Ball Trivia. And, since you're in the captain's chair.
I got something.
Okay. All right. We'll be right back.
More podcast is not recommended for those who prefer safe, predictable conversations. Side effects may include unexpected laughter, mild conviction, quoting episodes in public, and texting your friends. You've got to hear this. Do not listen while operating heavy machinery unless you enjoy laughing for no reason. If exposure lasts longer than one episode, you may experience a desire for more. The More podcast, use at your own risk.
Did you guys see the menu for tonight?
It's so good, dude.
It's going to be burgers and brats on the grill.
Let's go.
I'm not cooking them, so don't worry.
No, these guys are experts at this. They know what they're doing. With all the fixings, so it'll be potato salad, grandma's baked beans. I'm excited just about that one line right there. Fresh fruit and homemade desserts.
Let's go.
You don't like baked beans?
No.
Oh my gosh! I
Even
love
if
baked
it's
beans.
grandma's.
How do you turn down grandma's
I'll be
baked
honest,
beans?
especially if it's my grandma's.
All I know. Have you guys ever seen the movie Blazing Saddles?
No.
Nope.
It's in the era of my generation where you could be racist and nobody would say anything. So the whole movie is based on things that we're dealing with in culture at that point. But one of the funny things they do in the movie, you got to watch this because it's a classic. They're sitting around the campfire. It's taking place during cowboy. You've seen it, Ted.
I don't think I have, man. Blazing Saddles. Is this like the Three Amigos? Like is it like that? Okay,
it's like that. Yeah. And they all are eating beans, like tons of beans. And so then what do you think is going to happen?
Fart
so,
jokes.
Yeah. So they start farting around. That scene goes on for, I would say, at least good 3-4 minutes. They let it play in the movie. It is it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. As a dad, I had to show my kids that right away. I'm like, you guys, listen, this is what we got to watch. So anyways, so here we are with Bible Trivia. And if you want to be a part of this, all you have to do is send your answer into harborlightbibletrivia@gmail.com. harborlightbibletrivia@gmail.com, all lowercase. And then we put your name on the Wheel of Destiny by Wilson Insurance. And we still have a few amazing prizes here. We have the Yeti Sippy Cup.
Yep.
The Yeti Koozie. And we have the Crooked Biscuit $20 gift card still here. And
what was that thing that she had the other day? The crawfish etouffee? Is that
etouffee?
This weekend she's having
what did she say?
it's like a classic beans and
red beans and rice?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And I guess it's like National Biscuit Day or something.
Oh, really?
Oh,
And
well,
so if
come on.
she's told us if you come in
Today's
doing the
National
chicken
Biscuit Day, I
dance
think.
or
Yeah.
something, she'll
You
give
get
you a
free
biscuit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Sweet. Yeah, go.
Is that a made-up holiday? I mean, we got a lot
we
of
make
holidays.
everything up.
Wow.
Every holiday
National
other than Jesus'
biscuit.
birth and
Yeah.
Jesus' death.
We don't.
We made 'em.
Easter? Come on. That's a real holiday. I mean, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, we need. Yeah. Got good prizes here.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, Pastor
All right.
Hunter, what's the question?
All right, so we were talking about Judas this last week. He sold Jesus out for 30 pieces of silver. What else in the Bible was valued at 30 pieces of silver besides Judas betraying Jesus?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's an Old Testament law.
I know that one, but that's a good one.
Of course he does. With the mustache, of course he
I
does.
get the mustache. It's like
He wouldn't have known that 3 weeks ago.
No, it's
That's
the
all I'm saying.
mustache. That's why I'm not shaving it off.
Yeah, what else in the Bible was valued at 30 pieces of silver besides Judas betraying Jesus?
That's a good one. That's going to be some digging for some people.
I don't know it.
Well, everybody's just going to go on Google anyway. So just
Yeah.
like Google, show me the scripture. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, so if you know the answer, you can send that into harborlightbibletrivia@gmail.com. harborlightbibletrivia@gmail.com, all lowercase, and let us know. And we'll put your name on the Wheel of Destiny by Wilson Insurance, and we'll spin it. We got another week yet before we have to spin it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we got another week.
Yep.
And then we'll come there, get it done. And Amy won last time. She won the Yeti, MSU Yeti.
No, yeah, it was Hydro Flask.
Oh, the Hydro Flask? That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll be right back with the Bible Talk. And, of course, Hannah is on the table here, and she's up on deck to talk about what we heard last Sunday.
Headphones on. Check. The perfect podcast on. Check. Not sure why you're listening? Good point. Should you keep listening? Yes. Should you tell others you listen to the More Podcast? Good idea. Life just got better.
Well, last Sunday, Hannah brought a message that hit people right where they actually live. Not some polished church version of life, but the real stuff that we all carry. Shame, regret, failure. The voices in our heads that keep telling us we're not enough. And honestly, she went there in a way that was raw, funny, vulnerable, and incredibly powerful. From childhood stories about cutting her own hair and ending up with a mullet, a Peter denying Jesus, to Judas drowning in shame, to her own journey as a mom wrestling through insecurity and feeling like she had to prove herself. This sermon wasn't theory, it was deeply personal. And what made this message so compelling is that it asks a question every one of us has faced. When shame shows up, where do you run? Do you run away from God, hide, shut down, pretend, or do you run toward Jesus like Peter did? This conversation is going to challenge people, encourage people, and honestly probably expose some things people didn't even realize they were carrying. So wherever you're listening from, driving, working out, sitting at home, or hiding from your kids in the pantry with snacks, this is a conversation that you're going to want to lean into. So here's Hannah. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
We're glad that you're here. Pastor Hunter, I'm sure you're probably happy to have her here.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
It's always exciting when we get our spouses up in the deck here. I mean, they find the secret podcast room somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
We have to change the location after this.
We do.
Right.
Wait, well, she was blindfolded before she walked up here, so I don't think she really knows. Yeah, we don't want people to know.
Spun her around 10 times, and all right.
Yeah. So, Hannah, tell us a little bit about some of your preparation and what really went into you speaking about this subject on Sunday.
Yeah, I think a few months ago, Pastor Matt had asked me to talk at youth group, and I had been working on some stuff, and I was just reading the scriptures, and I was just really hit with like this idea of Judas, especially. And Josiah Queen has just come out with a song about Judas too, and just this idea of like, who was this guy? And what led him down this path, and like just giving him a little bit more humanity. Because I think a lot of the time we look at people like Judas and just think like, bad, you're bad. But like, what led to something like that? And then what led him to end his life? Like, that's a lot. And so that's kind of what spurred the idea for me. And I just feel like Jesus kept showing me more and more about like, hey, he was just riddled with shame, and so are you. And here, learn from these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tend to, I think you're right. I think we tend to write him off a lot, you know, because, you know, as soon as we hear, especially in King James, he was the son of perdition, you know, those kind of things. It's like, yeah, he's a bad guy. He's the evil guy. So we write him off. We really never give any credence to any part of his journey with Jesus through it all. But I mean, like you mentioned, I mean, he was with Jesus the whole time. Yeah. And so he heard all the same stories, all the same teaching, everyone else. And, you know, you got to imagine that it had some effect at the same time, but then he was also in conflict, you know, with his feelings about what was happening in Israel and all this stuff. There's a lot of things going on there.
Yeah.
And it's something you just write off. Yeah.
A lot with Judas, because it brings up like this idea of like, you can be walking with Jesus but not really know him.
Right.
Yeah.
There's just a lot that I think I'm a very like self-reflective person, and so I'm just like, whoa, that's me. Like, I just can do that a lot. So I don't know. Yeah. Looking at someone like that who is just a person. Yeah. He's just a guy.
Yeah. So one of the most powerful lines that I heard you say was that shame doesn't stay in one corner of your life. It leaks into everything. When did you first realize that some of the pressure you were carrying wasn't actually from God, but it was from shame?
I don't know. Like, I think a big catalyst for me of realizing what had been going on for years and years was like moving back here. Actually, I just remember we lived in the camper for a while, and I just remember sitting in this camper and just being like, okay, like I've spent almost 10 years like doing a bunch of stuff, but like, who am I without these things? And why do I feel like if I don't have like this job anymore in it, if I don't know, like, who am I? And I started realizing that I had been doing so many things because I was ashamed of what I hadn't done. I wanted to prove something. And so it brought up like this idea of like, okay, who are you now? And I think I knew for years that I had been carrying a lot of shame before that, but I think that was really like a whoa. Yeah. Like, I think I've been living in this for a really long time and not even aware of it.
What is I really love what you said about guilt and shame and kind of the difference, and I've heard stuff like that before of guilt as a motivator from the Holy Spirit. Like, guilt in and of itself can be a good thing of going, hey, you got to move from this area. it's a tricky, maybe blurred line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the difference between shame. So maybe help us think about that. Like, what's a good way for us to distinguish the difference between shame and guilt?
Yeah, I think I said like guilt it points us to a behavior. It points us to something that maybe we've done wrong. And I think shame attacks our identity. Okay. So I think it turns us from, I think it's totally okay to be like, hey, I did something wrong.
Right.
Hey, I did something wrong, or I have been told something wrong, or whatever. And then it's like this distinction between I made a mess and I am a mess.
Yeah.
Like,
That's good.
I did this thing, but now I'm letting it become who I am.
Yeah, it changes your identity.
It changes your identity, and then I think we can live in there for a long time and not be able to get out of it.
Yeah. It's kind of this big trick of the enemy to get you to take that behavior and then put it onto yourself and then make that become yourself, right? And so we really should just hate the behavior. Great theologian said, if I hate sin because of the punishment, I have not repented of the sin. I merely regret that God is just, right? So like, hey, we got to know, like, we just don't, I feel guilty because of the behavior. It's not who I am. I've been made new because of Jesus Christ, right? And so I can change the behavior. I also think 2 Corinthians 7:10, godly sorrow brings repentance that leads to salvation and leaves no regret, but worldly sorrow brings death. Right? I would say that Judas had a lot of worldly sorrow for what he did, and that brought him death. Right? But godly sorrow of like, man, I hurt God. Right? This hurt God because he's set up a code for me not to live in this way, and it hurts him when I do this. That's a godly sorrow, and it leads to repentance and coming home.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think a lot for me was like, I would say like the last 10 years were a lot of like I think it was before that, but a lot of the living out of shame. And it was really spurred on by this thing of like, I wanted to get into this master's program and I didn't get it. And it was really the first time I hadn't gotten something that I really wanted, like education wise and with like all these things. And so I failed. And then it was like, well, you're a failure. Like you can't do anything now. And I think everything else after that was just like, well, I got to make sure nobody knows that I am a failure. So I'm going to like work to the bone to like make it look good.
I think what you're touching on is huge. I mean, I feel that now where I'm at in my life is like you look back over all the years of ministry you've had, all those years you've been doing things. And of course, I mean, if you wrote it down on paper, you'd be like, I've done a lot, but you don't feel like you did anything, and you feel like you've let people down. You failed in places that you thought you were going to do better at, and all this other stuff. And now you don't really have the time to fix it, right? You don't have a lot of time to go back and fix anything, or do you have the opportunity? And shame can settle in pretty hard. How do you deal with the Christian? I mean, obviously, that is coping with both sides of those situations, that argument in your spirit. You want to continue to be effective for God, but at the same time, shame's pretty much in your life as well. So how did you cope with that? How did you deal with that?
I mean, I think I did a lot of like checking my motives behind things, and just because sometimes you have to keep doing something that you've already committed to, or and now you're like, oh wait, whoa, like I'm doing this out of a place of shame. You don't want to do any of that anymore, but you've already committed to whatever you're doing. And so I think it's a lot of just like personal heart check consistently to be like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this, but like, I don't want to do it out of that place anymore. Yeah. So changing, I think, just your perspective on it, and like working really hard with Jesus to be like, I'm doing this to glorify you, not to prove anything anymore.
Yeah. But we're also touching on, we can live out of a place of shame, and it causes us, and it's not based out of sin. Does this make sense? So right? So we can live out of a place of shame, and that motivates us to do certain things in a different way. It might not necessarily be sin, but how is it different when it is sin, where we're feeling shame because of the certain type of sin that we've been living in? What's the distinction there? Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yep. I think as a youth pastor, right, and thinking about lots of conversations with young people who want to take their faith serious, and habitual sin, right, of Jesus has forgiven, and his work on the cross is sufficient for your sin today, tomorrow, and the day that you leave this earth. And so being able to live in that, I think, is a hard thing for anyone, regardless of their age. But that, I think, is a pretty good indicator of if you feel like this need to kind of spiritually beat yourself up all the time for something you've done wrong, that's an area of shame. And that's an area where, like you had said earlier, the enemy gets a hold of guilt, this truth of the Lord, right? This action of the Holy Spirit that to motivate change in your life. And he twists it just enough to make it that lie. And it's really sneaky. And so now this good thing of, man, I want to experience freedom and I want to experience fullness of life with the Lord quickly becomes, you can't function because you just are saddled with this millstone of shame, of sin. So I think I think this idea of if there's something about it of you feel the need to go back over and over and over and beat yourself up spiritually, that's an area of shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with what you said. I think, for me, I was kind of like the perfect, sadomasochist Christian where I was always constantly like looking for the whip to whip my back and to beat myself up for everything. And no matter what it was, it could be sin or it could be just failure of not doing what I need to do. Like I didn't read my Bible this week or whatever it was. And I spent years and years and years doing that. And I remember one time just having a time with the Lord, and, Pastor Hunter was talking about going out away for a while. I remember going out away one time, and it was in Iowa, and getting out there and just kind of like talking to God about it. I'm like, this is no fun for me. This whole Christian journey is no fun, because it's either I have moments where I see things that are happening because of you, and then there are moments where I screw up and then it doesn't work well, and I'm beating myself up in the process the whole time. And where's the joy?
Yeah.
And I think for me, it was kind of like a revelation of, well, you're always focusing on that. You're hyper focused on the failures and never focusing on anything that I've accomplished or I've done or I've brought victory or whatever. And so for me, it was kind of beginning to have a very spiritual understanding of balance and seeing what God needs me to work on, so I don't have those issues. But what I've done and through you, these are things you need to focus on.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a big thing for me, because I've grown up as a pastor's kid. I've grown up and so I've lived in an environment of guilt and shame forever, because you just, that's just what you do, And I grew up in a church environment that's the way it was. Churches preach that sermon, you're lower than dirt, you're a worm, blah blah blah. And so I think there are a lot of people that just kind of live in that realm thinking this is what God wants us to change our thinking to. But when I'm thinking about the passage of Paul saying we're a new creation, new to me is not bad. New to me is not exciting. It's something that I should be looking forward to. But I was not looking at it that way. New creation for me was like, oh, crud. This is not much fun. And I to me, I've met a lot of Christians in the same ballpark,
Yeah.
They misunderstand the message.
Yeah. I just think shame's a dangerous thing, especially when we start living out of it. Whether it's, shame from what somebody said and it's causing us to live out of insecurities, or shame from sin, I think it's dangerous, because shame will consistently cloud the clarity of God's call on your life.
Yeah.
And so when you're living in shame, like, it's going to be hard for you to see how God wants you to do something or how he wants you to do it, because you're really looking at it through the lens of your shame.
Right.
And going back to the question that we asked a long time ago, is like, that will affect people.
Yeah.
Right. And now you're going to end up hurting people or bulldozing your way through because you're either trying to prove something, or on the flip side, the shame has caused you to shrink down to the point that you'll never take a step of faith to step into what God's calling you to do, because shame is going to rob you, and it's going to try to destroy you.
Yeah. And I think I think of this question I was often asked by a mentor of mine in college, that like when I would be talking about something that I was upset that I had done, or like a sin or anything, she would always look at me and say, okay, what lie are you believing about who God is?
That's good.
What are you not believing is true? And I think when we get into these cycles of like, I did this thing and like I can't get out of it, and now I'm dirt, and now I'm all these things, I think we have to ask ourselves, what am I not believing about who God is? What lie am I believing? Because it's not about me, it's about not knowing that not really believing. Like I said, like if we believe what God says, then we have to believe that Judas could seek this forgiveness? What am I believing about God that's not true for me? Am I not believing he can give grace, that his death on the cross was enough for me?
Yeah.
What am I believing that's not true?
As great as my sins are, Jesus' great sacrifice on the cross is bigger than that. Right?
Yeah.
I think people don't have an issue of believing that for other people.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
For
Right?
sure.
Oh yeah, that's true for him over there, but it ain't true.
You're
for me.
don't know what
preaching
I
to
did.
people around
You don't
this
know what I
table.
did.
Right.
I mean, that is the truth.
Right? And so, listen, man, when it was for everything, it was for everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the sad part of the story between Peter and Judas.
Right.
That to me is the part that breaks my heart about the whole story, is that one figured it out and went back and made it work. The other one just could not believe that it would be possible that he would forgive him for selling him out like that.
Yeah.
And, all the things. And, and the thing that's amazing about Judas, what you brought up, is that, Judas did it in a very intimate way, right? Kisses him on the cheek. He basically takes this money, selling him out for this. We don't know what was going on besides this in his thought life, but, he was really into this thing intimately, and it would be difficult to kind of wrap your mind around the fact that he can forgive me for that. But that's the amazing thing about grace, right?
Yep.
Is no matter how deep you've gotten into your sin, how deep you've messed up, there's nothing, like you just mentioned, that is beyond his forgiveness.
Absolutely.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part the devil doesn't want you to figure out.
100%.
Because if you do, it's going to be different.
100%, because you'll finally be free. Satan wants to lessen. He can't do it, but he tries to do it in your mind. He wants to lessen what Jesus Christ did on the cross.
Yeah.
So he wants to make it weaker by making you believe that it's weaker than what it actually is, which will in turn make your sin condemn you instead of convict you, right? Conviction is to say, man, I've messed up. I'm going to turn back to God.
Yep.
Condemnation is different. Condemnation's finished. I'm condemned. This is over with. Tim Keller has a good quote on conviction and condemnation. He says, you can name sin without hating yourself. You can name the harm without collapsing in guilt. That's the difference between conviction and condemnation. One calls you home, the other locks you out.
Yeah, that's good.
Right?
That's
And I think that's the story of Peter and Judas, right? Peter's convicted, and he feels some guilt, feels some shame, ends up turning to Jesus, and Judas feels condemnation and leads to death. It's his life.
Yeah, he basically gave himself his own death sentence because he couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Hannah, I want to get into this next topic because, you really heard your mom's heart on Sunday. And you talked about Luca, and you shared some really, really honest stuff about that. And I'm sure that was difficult, but I was wondering if you could share it for our listeners that may have not been able to be a part of the service. But you were talking about being a parent to Luca and some of the struggles you've had. And so, the question is, what would you say to the parent listening right now who feels like they're failing their kids? What would you say to that? Share a little bit about the story because I don't know if everybody knows. But
So Luca is a cool kid.
Yeah.
But Luca has a pretty significant speech delay. And we've worked really hard to get him the services he needs, but we really weren't able to do that until we moved here. And it just was progressively getting worse and worse. He's falling further and further and further behind because he just didn't quite meet the requirements to get him actual help. And so it was just, I was doing a lot of it just myself, trying to learn how to be a speech therapist and how to help him, but it just didn't work super great because that's not what I do.
Yeah.
And it was a really hard year probably of just so many meltdowns every day. And I was just exhausted by it, and it led to a lot of self-deprecation and just really feeling like this, the other two were fine. So the common denominator here is me. And so really feeling like I must have done something wrong here to make this happen. And I think I said it at one point in the sermon, I think the truth is you are going to fail. You are going to fail. And so, if we have this picture in our heads that we're not going to, then the fall is so much further if we don't know that that's just going to happen. And I just think, we're going to mess up, but, Jesus is so much bigger than any of the mess ups that we could have with him, with our kids. And, I would say if you really feel like you're failing your kids, like just keep pressing on in the work that God has before you. And you gotta, like, I don't really love like the pull yourself up by the bootstraps kind of thing, but you kind of do have to sometimes. Like you can sit there and like self wallow in it, or you can keep moving forward, and like don't be ashamed of going and finding the help and being that annoying parent who like gets them what they need. And I think sometimes
that's where it's at.
Fear and shame can make you like be afraid to even say, hey, something's wrong here.
And that's my story with Luca, right? Because I had put a lot of pride in myself of how, good Seamus and Eden were when it comes to talking and all these things. And then when Luca can't, Hannah's like, Hunter, we need to get him in stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if really we need to. He's going to be fine, right? Because in my mind, it's like, no, all of my kids, like this is, I'm a good parent. Right. I know what I'm doing, right? It had nothing to do with me. But my shame and my pride and probably my ego actually stopped me from getting Luca the thing that he actually needed, right? Yep. And so that's what shame will do. It paralyzes you into doing what's the right next step, right? So I would say also for the parents who are struggling with this, and man, you don't know if am I doing this right for the kid? Do I got some issues? In Hannah's sermon, she said, hey, you got to bring it to the light. Yep. You got to talk to some people. You got to make sure those are the right people, people that want to see you win. There's a person, she says, shame dies when stories are told in safe places, right? So there's a certain moment where, man, we got to, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Right. I need to talk to Jesus about it, but I also need to find some real close friends. I think it's important to note that Peter was with the disciples. Right. So Peter went back with his boys. Yeah. Right. Now, I don't know whether Judas would have been allowed to go back with the boys. Right. I don't know what that would have looked like.
You can sit over there.
Right. but I know Peter did, right? He went back with his people. And so we got to share our stories, and we got to share how we're feeling with the right people. Yeah. Because we get it out into the light, and like mold grows in dark places, right? And that's dark and cold places.
And I think in like mom culture that I see, there's either this idea of like putting your very best foot forward, or like, hey, I'm a hot mess, and you need to find people who are like, you need to find your people who you can say the real stuff to, but who are going to call you up and call you into more.
Yeah, I really liked you talking about that, because I think, we do live in a culture where everything is so filtered through your social media and what people present and all of this stuff, and how they want people to perceive their successes and what's going on. And that is not necessarily the reality. And especially in the Christian culture, everybody wants to think that their kid's going to be the next, the next disciple of Jesus, the next prophet, that whatever, it's just, they just never accept the fact that maybe I'm going to have some struggles with my kids, and I think we put this heavy weight on us as parents, and we kind of become just loaded down with shame about, they just don't meet up to, our expectations. I mean, my kids, I said, I wanted my kids to go to college and all this other stuff, and neither one of them did. And I remember, the questions people would say, like, you went to college, why are your kids going to college? Well, they don't want to, and I think, the reality is, for me, I finally just had to accept the fact that this is who they are. This is how God made them. This is their path. And, but it took, it took me a while to get my mind wrapped around the fact that this is how God's going to work it out. So if it's not exactly what I want it done, that's how it's going to be. And it's your will be done, not mine. And that's a tough thing. I think any parent, I think that's what you spoke to on Sunday. I think that's a tough thing to have that conversation about, especially with yourself, with your spouse, with your kid, to realize that my kid is not going to be the next astronaut or in the kingdom. They're going to have to be whatever God's put them in that position. And it's okay. It is okay. And, to love that situation for what it is. Because I think, like what you said, you can get caught up so much in the mess that you miss what God's using in that situation to teach you so much about your faith journey. And you could lose that whole interaction, that whole thing. And I think that is key. Yeah.
I think we have invisible and unexpressed expectations of our kids. Right? Sometimes I think our kids are born and they sign contracts that they never know existed. That we're expecting them to live out. And maybe even sometimes we're expecting the impossible from our kids, and then we act shocked when it doesn't happen. And then we ask, "Oh, what did I do wrong? How did I do this?" It's like, well, and there's a lot of things that you're just expecting, and maybe you've never talked to them about, or if they're younger, they can't even understand what's going on,
sure.
right? And they're on their own. They're on their own track of how they're learning and how they're growing. Right?
I remember with my kids teaching them. We were always taking churches that didn't have praise band, so we became the praise band, or I was the praise band. So I'm like, I'm gonna get my kids involved. Mm-hmm. And for me, music comes pretty easy. I can pick up an instrument and I can learn it. I can play music. I can do whatever. My kids, the total opposite. Like I was literally like I was ready to bang my head against the wall because I'm like, don't you get this? Don't you understand it? But my expectation was like, I learned music really quick.
Yeah.
Why can't you? I mean, you're my kid. Sure. And I remember that used to be such a wedge between us in our relationship because it just made no sense. And I my wife a couple times has sit me down. She's like, they're not you. They're not, they're not you. They don't get it like you do. I'm like, why not? But yeah, like those unspoken expectations. It's just like, it doesn't make any sense. But, it's amazing how those can become those shame wedges that get in the way and create things in your relationship that should not be there.
Yep.
And God doesn't want them there, but they sneak in, Yep. It's good. You said something that really stuck. You said, Hannah, that your first thought might be shame, but your second thought matters. Practically speaking, what does it look like to interpret that shame spiral before it starts controlling your identity?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I am not good at that. I think there's a million spirals. So I deal with a lot of shame spirals. I deal with a lot of anxiety spirals. And I would say it takes me a long time. And I think I'm getting better.
She's looking at Hunter right now.
Right? Yeah. I'm getting better.
Hunter, say something.
You're getting better.
Yeah, okay,
I'm
good.
getting better at stopping them. But I think it takes a while. And for me, it just looks like all of a sudden, realizing I am yelling about absolutely nothing right now. And whoa, I look like a toddler. And whoa, I could stop this now. And so, again, I think it's probably annoying, but self-reflection, being in the middle of something and being able to look at yourself from an outside perspective for just a second.
Yeah.
And then being okay, I'm going to move on I'm going to do something different right now and take some deep breaths.
Yeah, step out of
the
it for a little
toddler
bit,
thing of I pick Luca up all the time and I'm okay, take a deep breath.
Calm down.
And so I think it's the same with me.
Yeah.
And so
here's one of the problems with shame. If you were driving a car and the yellow light came on because something's wrong with the car, that's how shame is in our life. It doesn't immediately wreck the car.
Yeah.
The car still continues to work. It's just got some issues.
Right.
But
Yeah.
if you let it sit there long enough, eventually the car's going to break down.
Yeah.
So you got to get good at hearing the noises and seeing the lights flashing up so that you realize, okay, I need more gas in the car. The oil needs to be changed, right? The brakes are going, so I can hear it. And that's how shame is. And everybody's different. And it starts when you get good at finding the light or hearing the noise of shame, it's easier to call it out and know when it's happening.
Yeah. And I think I said at one point, you can't stop something. You can't eradicate this from your life. You can't break free from it if you don't admit that it even exists.
I think that's key.
And I think going to a car thing, if your gas light is on and you're pretending that it's not,
right,
we're gonna run into a problem. You have to admit oh, I gotta go get gas now, whatever. And I think you have to admit that it's something that exists for you,
right,
that this is a place that you can often find yourself in. And once you do that, I think you can see the pattern of it showing up more and more. But you have to admit that, hey, this is a problem for me.
You have to admit it and then be dependent enough to say, I need God to help me with this.
And I need others.
I think if our spiritual life was a car, we wouldn't want to admit that we need gas.
Right.
I'm too good for that, right? I'm too strong.
I know.
Yeah,
I know my tank.
You know what I mean? We wouldn't want to admit that. But the reality is man, when we feel shame, we have to bring it to God. We have to stay dependent on Him and bring it back to Him over and over again. I think people have a hard time recognizing when they're living out of a place of shame and when they're walking with it. And so you got to get good at finding, what does this begin to look like? What is that first thought? Because if you can find that first thought capture it and destroy it, you can stop it right at the base before we go into a big shame spiral.
Yeah, because I think it's sneaky.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
really sneaky. And like I said at the beginning, like I was sitting with myself in the camper and saying, what do I do now? And I hadn't even realized that I had been serving and ministering to people and doing all of this out of a place of shame because it was sneaky, because you're doing the right things and you're doing these things. And so now there's now a level that before I say yes to something, before I do something, now I have a checklist of, hey, I've realized that this is an issue for me, that I'm going to do things out of a place of shame and not wanting to be seen as a failure and wanting to be able to like make everything look easy and like I've got it all together. And so now before I say yes, I need to like check, okay, why do I want to say yes to this?
Yeah.
Why? What's going on? Is this actually something that I should do? Is this actually something that I feel like God is calling me to? And I go through this mental list now before I say yes, because for a long time it was just like, I need to say yes to everything so that at least I'm not failing at that. Like,
Right, yeah.
I can always say yes. Like, and
Which then, here's the tough part about that. Then you say yes to everything, and then you start failing in other places now. And so then
it
you're left
goes
with the
deeper and
same
deeper
place.
of like,
I failed again. I'm a
I'm a
horrible
failure.
person.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy part, and how the sentence works matters, because when Satan's trying to get something to us, it's gonna be a half truth, half lie, right? So if we sin, you sinned. That's truthful. You're a horrible person. God does not love you. How could God ever love somebody like you?
Right.
Well, now there's the lie, but it started with something that's truthful, and now it's went a little bit deeper, right? And a little bit into a lie where Satan's trying to get you into a posture of shame so that you will walk away from God, right? And he does that. He's going to do that with everything, right? So we failed. Man, I failed this spot, and now it's like, you're right, you are a failure. You should never do anything ever again.
All right, yeah. Give it
right?
up.
And so it's just like slowly taking stuff from you, because ultimately, like, man, Satan really does not want you to step into your destiny, and he so badly wants you to walk away from God, because he wanted to separate us from God. Jesus Christ made a way for us to come back to God, and so Satan's doing whatever he can do to get you to walk away from that. I said in a couple of sermons ago that the war is already won, right? Jesus won it, but the battle for our soul wages on, right? And Satan is, you better believe, going to war every day after us to destroy and kill us, right?
I think it's interesting you guys brought up. The thing is, I think sometimes, and this has been a pet peeve of mine for a long time, is that we hyper spiritualize everything to the point where we don't take responsibility for choices.
There it is.
That we make. And if we look at the stories that you've been talking about, Peter was the one that denied Jesus. Nobody forced him. Nobody twisted his arm. Judas took the silver and then went into the garden and showed him who he was. Those things all are part of this process of allowing shame to be a part of our lives. And so I think, taking from what you said on Sunday, there is a responsibility on our part to pay attention to those things that we're allowing ourselves to get into. So I think what you just said about saying yes to things and realizing that I can't just say yes to everything, because then it only compiles this idea of, I think those are the tools that the devil looks for, is like those little things that he can pick up and use to destroy us. But really, it starts with us, with how we're accepting the situation, what influences are a part of our lives, or how are we dealing with things. And I've said this before, with some of the situations that are going on with people we talk to in the church. There are moments where you are chemically imbalanced, that you need to check those things out. It's not always some spiritual warfare. You need to get checked out. You may be letting stuff in your life that is not good. You need to get that out of there, because those are all contributing to this issue of this shame cycle, this spiral that you're allowing in your life. Not getting enough sleep. I mean, there's a lot of things that we got to take into consideration. So, God's ready to do a lot of things, but God's also giving you a lot of tools to put the walls up.
100%.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting in your message, you point that out, that, I have to, do these things. I have to put these things in place. I have to pay attention to this stuff. And I think that's a message a lot of people don't always want to listen to, because they always want to put the responsibility and owed up to God to make everything better.
Yeah.
But that's not how it's going to work.
Yep. I was talking to someone, and I think would I love for God to just always walk in and be like, gone. Yes. That would be A+, A-okay. I would love that. But I do think that there is hey, I need to show up And I need to every day say, actually, today I'm not going to live out of this place. Actually, today I'm going to do things that are good for me, like sleep, like drink water, like do these things that are going to help me show up in the world better so that I'm not as susceptible to falling into these pits of shame.
Yeah.
And you call on Jesus to walk with you through it, to help you navigate these places, but you also have to be the one walking too, and you have to be joining him in that pursuit.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to engage your legs to walk. At some point, you got to do that, right? So last question, Hannah. We don't have probably not a ton of time left, I'm going to imagine. Yeah. I think there are people listening right now who feel spiritually stuck. They've gone too far, failed too many times, or disappointed God too much. What encouragement would you give to somebody who wants to run back to Jesus, but they're a little afraid to?
Well, that's a good one.
I guess I would say, like, I know it's really scary. I know it's really scary because maybe you've been met with people before who, like, haven't accepted you after you've made a mistake, and I get that. I think I said it at one point that, like, it's gonna be really hard, but so is staying where you're at. And life is hard for everybody, regardless of what's going on. Everyone has their own unique challenges, but, like, it's always going to be hard. So, like, choose the better hard. Like, choose the better hard, because it's not going to be easy. You're right. And it is scary, but it's so worth it at the other end.
Yeah.
And you'll never know how worth it is. And I think also, like, this idea that Jesus has really been talking to me about of, like, you don't have as far to go as you think you do. You really don't.
Yep.
I think Satan would love for us to think that we have light years and light years to go before Jesus will take us back, that we have to fix ourselves before going to him, or we have to do all this stuff. But, like, he's already on the road. He's already waiting for us. He's already watching, and he's just waiting for you to take a step towards
waiting
him.
for you to turn and come back to him. I would say, why are you afraid? Find out why you're afraid of it. And when you can name the fear doesn't have as much power anymore. So why am I scared? That's an important step in it. But, man, here's the thing. Jesus already knows what you did. He already knows it.
Yeah.
You're not giving him anything new, right? You're not revealing anything that he doesn't already see. And so Jesus paid the price for us. Isaiah 43:25. I am he who blots out your transgressions for my own sake and remembers your sins no more. Like, he throws it into the sea of forgetfulness when we turn back and we repent. And so, there, man, you're not going to be met with condemnation from Jesus, but you're going to be met with forgiveness and I think transformation from him. But at some point, we got to be willing to turn and run back to him.
That's good. That's an amazing point. That is an amazing point. I mean, when Peter came back to Jesus didn't slap him around.
Yep.
Tie him up and start doing CAI black ops on him. He just said, "Do you love me?"
Yeah. Yeah. And in Luke 24, it actually talks about, I think, what is it? Maybe verse 34, somewhere in there. Don't fully quote me, but it is Luke 24. It talks about Jesus and Peter had a conversation. It's not recorded. We have no idea what it was, but they were together, and he went and he talked to him. And I think if we see who Jesus is, I don't think he was yelling at him. I think there was a good, hey, I love you conversation.
Yeah, I love that we don't get to know that conversation.
Yeah, I think that makes it
I'm going to ask
special.
him when I get up there.
Yeah.
Hey,
like, dude.
I hope you get hit with the none of your business.
Yeah. I want to see the transcripts on that, man.
Yeah.
But Jesus meets with him and talks with him, and Jesus wants to meet with you and talk with you, right? I really believe that.
Hannah, it's been a pleasure to have you up here. Thank you for sharing. It was
Thank you for
good
having
message. Good message.
Thank
it was
you.
very challenging, and I think it was definitely necessary. Great Mother's Day message. So we'll have to get you back up there again sometime.
Yeah. It was
100%.
fun.
Yeah.
And I had a good time.
I did.
Well, we get through everything. By the time you're done, you're like, what is this show about? We don't know. It's kind of like Seinfeld. We have no idea. We just show up and do it. But anyways, that's it for us. Pastor Hunter, what are you preaching next Sunday? Or
I'm not. Pastor Gary's preaching Ruth chapter 1.
We're going into the Ruth series.
I don't know what he's necessarily going to pull out of Ruth chapter 1. There's a lot of good things.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
But it's going to be great. We're excited to see where he's going. and what we're going to do with Ruth. And so here's my 10-second pitch on why you got to come to church service for the Ruth series.
Here we go.
Ruth is all about God working in the mundane to do the miraculous. He uses little choices and little moments and this just so happened to do crazy and amazing things in your life. And so if you're living in a season of just mundaneness and life is the same every single day, God can use those things too.
Good stuff. We'll see you guys next week.
You have found us. More podcast, where we want you to know God more deeply, find lasting freedom, discover your destiny and make an eternal difference. Now,